In Roman times, the Saalburg fort kept watch over a section of the limes in the Taunus Hills from the beginning of the 2nd century AD for approximately the next 150 years. The limes marked the frontier between Rome's empire and the Germanic tribal territories. The fort's garrison was made up of 600 soldiers, both infantry and cavalry. A bathhouse and guest house were located just outside the main gate. A village housing craftsmen, traders, and tavern keepers adjoined the fort. The Roman road to Nida, today Frankfurt-Herdenheim, was lined with graves and small shrines. As many as 2,000 people may once have lived in this fort and the village. The buildings fell into disrepair after increasing Germanic attacks. Campaigns in the east of the empire and internal political problems forced Rome to abandon the limes. Today, the remains of the 550-kilometer-long frontier complex from the Rhine to the Danube River in Germany comprise the largest ancient monument in Europe. After initial archaeological investigation in the mid-19th century, thanks to an initiative led by Kaiser Wilhelm II, the fort was rebuilt between 1897 and 1907. In a later video, you will see that I videotaped and took pictures of the bust of Kaiser Wilhelm II, the last German emperor. To serve as open-air museum and research institute between 2003 and 2009, with the reconstruction of additional buildings, an archaeological park was created. Now, in modern times, in 2005, the limes and with it the Saalburg was added to the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. As you see in the background of the video is a bust, full statue of the Emperor Pius, which is standing in the entrance to the main gates here at the fort. The visitor who makes the rounds of this fort and its grounds gains a lively and vivid picture of the Roman way of life. Within the fortifications, which include defensive walls, rampart walk, and 4 gateways, as you'll see in many of the pictures that I took earlier. Many of the original buildings have been reconstructed in stone and timber, and you'll see many of the foundations of those buildings still today with the heated floors where they use the wells close by and the canals underneath the foundations to keep their floors warm, which they were accustomed to in Italy with Rome, here in the Western Province in limes. The visitor, with its monumental assembly hall and colonnaded courtyard around which museum rooms are grouped in Roman times, these were called orderly rooms, offices, and armories. The Fabrica is modeled on the workshop buildings in Roman military camps. It is used for exhibits, special events, museums, and education. The common soldiers lived in the nearby Centurier barrack blocks, which you saw pictures of earlier, and I also did a video where the Roman soldiers were baking their own bread. These were called the barrack blocks. Archaeological finds and reconstructions in this area also revealed the lives of the soldiers and the residents of the village outside the gates of the fort. Especially eye-catching are the reconstructed Conturbernum barracks room, home to a squad of 8 soldiers who lived in close quarters, and the richly decorated Triclinium, officers' dining room. The Ides regimental shrine is particularly impressive. It was once the spiritual and religious center of the fort. In the rebuilt ovens, we saw those earlier also, where the people in authentic dress were actually baking in the ovens, and they had already proofed their bread. Fresh Roman bread is still baked several times a year here at the fort. Visitors can enjoy the atmosphere of a Roman restaurant called the Museum Cafe Taberna, where the authentic cook stove sideboard and shelves replicate Roman originals. Guests choose from food, drink, from the culinary offerings and specialties typical of ancient Rome, which is a very nice feature in this reconstructed fort. Credits to Kaiser Wilhelm II to bring it back to its original glory. Outside the fort's main gate, where the civilian settlement was located, the visitor finds the remains of a bathhouse, which we looked at before in some of the pictures that I took, where you saw on the left side the foundation of the bath still. Some of the wells outside the private homes that you saw were very conveniently located for the heated floors, and as well fresh drinking water and bathing. One of the bath foundations was in the middle of the fort that we saw earlier. The Saalburg Circuit Trail also leads to a well-preserved part of the limes, not far from the fort, where a section has been reconstructed at an ancient border crossing. The trail passes additional ruins, copies, and reconstructions of archaeological monuments, such as the Jupiter Column and the Temple of Mithras. In this particular fort, they have discovered on their archaeological dig here a wide variety of the daily life, eating and drinking, the construction and the crafts, weapons and military equipment. Were able to they were able to figure out the dress and ornamentation, medicine used, finance, and religion. This fort was very conducive for having wells located periodically throughout the fort in close proximity to their dwellings. This was a really nice trip. Glad you enjoy it.